Indiana Jones. It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute, the podcast in which we celebrate and discuss the film Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Pete Mumrick.
I'm Gerry Porter.
And I'm Doris Weiss.
Thank you for joining us, Doris, all the way from sunny Germany.
Not so sunny.
Oh, I was worried about
We've
that as I
had
said that.
rainstorms the last couple of days. So.
Oh my gosh. Wrath of God?
Probably.
Yeah, now we know where the ark winds up.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
I mean, sky looked just as dramatic as the minute we're talking about.
Wow. That's disturbing. Well, I hope you survive at least through minute 64. What a grim thing to say. All right. Well, minute 64 begins with Marion covering a knife with her clothes, and it ends with Indy face to face with a cobra.
Well, talking about the butter knife. First of all, is that her clothes?
Yeah,
Does it
it's like
cover
her
with her
bunched
clothes?
up.
I thought maybe it was a napkin, but I guess it could be like
Perhaps.
Yeah, I
Is
think
it
it's like her. She just took off all her stuff and changed it into the dress, and I think she's got her street clothes all balled up.
God, she's quick.
She's good.
But the first thing I thought about was like a butter knife, and you're like, well, what is she going to do with that? I mean, that's not very threatening, a butter knife. But when I was in 8th grade, I actually sliced my hand wide open with a butter knife.
I remember that.
Yeah, I had to get 6 stitches. And so I mean, it was a little hard for me to watch, the beginning of this minute 64, because it brought back a lot of the memories. And it hurt. God, it killed. And it went all the way down to the sinews and the tendons. And yeah, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so that butter knife, that's no joke.
And when you say a butter knife, do you mean like a completely non-serrated, like fat, featureless knife?
And that's exactly what I mean.
God, how do you do that?
That's a long story. It's like a minute 2:08 kind of story.
It looks pretty pointy to me, though.
It does. I was gonna say, even if it's for bread or something, it's got a sharp end to it.
And next to the butter knife is a fruit plate, right? And what's on that fruit plate?
Fruit?
There are 2 dates.
Bad dates.
And I was like, that is so Marion. That's such a nice touch. I thought if Marion had a state fruit, it would be the date.
She's
And
been
if you
on a
look-
lot of dates.
Yeah, there's been a lot. And if you look at how it's arranged, Pete, I think you'll enjoy this. If you look at how the date is arranged, like there's one of them, and it's right sitting nicely in between 2 bananas, and you're like,
Yeah.
that looks like the eye of Horus.
Oh my God.
right there.
It totally does. I'm looking right now.
I'm good. I'm done with this minute.
Yeah. Drop your phone. You're done. Do you think Belloq knew that in Marion's fake last moments she was enjoying dates before she was killed in a truck explosion? And and he made that effort specifically?
He called like the PA.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or is it
in my green room, I need 2 dates.
Right.
2 bananas, 2 apples.
Yes. I'm going to make an eye of Horus, so I need all the appropriate fruits. And only blue M&Ms.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of like when your mom makes you a sandwich for school and she like makes a smiley face out of the bologna. And
My mom didn't love me like that.
No. But that's how Belloq loves Marion. What were you going to say?
Yeah, quick poll. Just a quick poll. How many of us out there, you can answer at home, How many of us out there have waved off the chaperone at the beginning? At the beginning of the evening, and then and then the evening actually goes well.
Well, there was that middle school dance in 8th grade where, as a class, we all just asked all the chaperones to leave. That's not fair.
He's like, we don't need a chaperone. He's like, oh, I'm sure this will go well. Let me get rid of my chaperone.
Well, she is here against her will. Yeah, what can go wrong?
And there's like an army of German soldiers right outside that tent.
Right. What's going to happen?
Yeah. Chaperoning is not something we do in Germany, by the way.
I'm not sure we do it here anymore, except for middle school dances.
It must have gone out with the 1950s. So. In 1936, it probably was done.
Let's take another poll. Do we think it's possible for Marion to sit down in that dress with that gigantic flower on her butt?
Anyone?
Because I don't. It looks like it's right on her seat. Like if she sat down in a chair, she'd be right on that gigantic puffy flower.
It looks uncomfortable.
It does.
I was going to say, I'm not trying not to be presumptuous here, but Doris, maybe you've worn a dress at times?
I've worn the occasional dress, yeah.
Anything with a big blossoming flower in the rump?
No. I think that style is not kind of up to date. But anyone else get the feeling that this is really a bridal dress or something?
It's awfully white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of talk on the last couple weeks that this dress was actually intended for tote.
Would have suited him much better.
It's a shame we never got to see that in action. Maybe an Indy 5.
Yeah. You think Tote would wear? I mean, but Tote would be wearing white.
That'd be the weirdest part about it. Not just that he was in a dress, but that he was wearing white.
Like, no, Tote, that's the wrong color on you.
I'm more of a winter.
Would white go with his melted face?
It would stain severely. That dress would be absolutely ruined. That's be
exactly why you need chaperones.
Yeah. Remember, kids, on a first date, don't melt all over your dress. This is a public service announcement from the Indiana Jones Minute. Well, do we have anything else in this tent before we get to the Well of Souls, which is sort of the bulk of this minute, isn't it?
Yeah, and very nice of you to give me the creepy crawly stuff.
We thought you might appreciate that. Let's freak out the German with some snakes.
Snakes don't freak me out.
No?
No. The spiders would have done that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you know what? I agree. Spiders are a lot creepier and alien-ish more than snakes, I think.
They do a lot with the like wisping, snaky hissing things. The spiders got their John Williams plinks.
Yeah.
And the plinky background that creeps you out, but the snakes really get this menacing, first they're called asps, and then when they hit, they're like, real like hissy, and it's cracklingly loud.
Yeah.
Too, which is great.
There's something that I read, so you can correct me because I have no clue if that's true or not. It said that Ben Bird created the sounds of the snakes all slithering over each other by sticking his hand in a cheese casserole.
I have heard that. Was it? Yeah. No, I definitely heard the cheese casserole thing.
I've heard that too. I think his wife actually made the cheese casserole.
Ooh.
So that was half, and then he did part of it was that, and then part of it was dragging wet sponges across the grip tape of a skateboard.
Oh
my God.
Where does that guy come up with these ideas?
And where does he come up with the skateboards? Like, does he just sit there like, okay, I'm going to make a shopping list. I need a skateboard. I need a sponge. I need some casserole. I need a jacket filled with steak.
He's like, I know. My wife makes a poisonous casserole.
Honey, you know that casserole of yours I cannot stand?
Yeah.
Could you please make me another one? Let it sit out overnight. I need it, finally. That's my Ben Bird impression.
There's a lot of good, more Egyptian mythology here with the snakes that kind of ties into the whole indie thing. Because in Egyptian mythology, Ra, the sun god, who we've talked about as being the disc-shaped falcon, every night Ra would, during the day, Ra would cross the sky, and then at night he would have to fight his way through the underworld to get back to rise again. And every night when he was fighting his way through the underworld, he would have to fight the serpent Apep. And so this is cool that Indy is like leaving the land of the sun, and he goes underground and he has to fight the serpent, just like Ra, the falcon god.
Oh, wow.
Oh God, that's amazing.
Now, I honestly can't tell if this could possibly have been planned by the filmmakers or if this is almost Carbonite Dream territory where we're just making these connections.
I do support your theory that this is a Carbonite dream, yeah?
Oh, thank you.
This minute has my favorite, actually, Carbonite Dream sequence evidence.
Yes.
When you look at it, it starts when Indy's kind of going down the rope into the Well of the Souls, and you see the blue lightning flashing above him. And as Indy's descending, you start to hear the thunder claps, and you sort of see this roiling blue sky and these blue flashes. And to me, this is a definite callback to Empire Strikes Back, when Indy is in the asteroid in the cave with the space slug, and above him there are TIE bombers dropping these blue bombs. And if you look at the explosions the blue bombs make, it is the exact same thing you see in the sky. Like, it's the exact same image.
Oh my god.
And the sound of the thunder is exactly the same sound as the sound of the bombs from the TIE bombers.
And
That's
of course,
incredible.
it's being lowered down into like a pit of doom, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Surrounded by weird reptilian creatures like Inox or the Sphinx.
That's pretty incredible.
This reality seems to be trying to intrude itself into his dream.
That's a grand slam right there.
That is, because when those TIE bombers are going by in Empire, I always think of that as, that sounds a lot like thunder. Like, especially from like inside the cave, it sounds like distant thunder.
And
Well
this
done,
goes
Pete.
on the whole time down here. You keep hearing that sort of background, the TIE bombers dropping their bombs and the blue flashes the whole time he's under here.
You wonder
Yeah,
if this... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The creepy crawlies are there too. I mean, you have the Minox sucking.
Yeah. Weird, gross creatures who Indy/Han hates. It all works.
I love that one. There's that one snake, I guess it's an asp, that one snake that looks up, like as Indy is descending, and he looks up and he's like drooling, and he's like, here comes another one of those West Coast, soft in the middle, in over his head professors on spring break. He's like thrilled. And then the other guy comes over and, like they do a little territorial thing and they show how menacing and scary. And it's like,
For some reason, I always think of you when I see that, Gerry. I think it reminds me of your cats. Like any of the dozens of cats you've had over the years, just kind of go,
yeah, they
freaking
just
out
get
on each other.
furious. They're waiting for the fat chunk of meat to come down into the well.
We have a snake expert actually coming on in a couple weeks that's going to help us with this, so he'll probably shoot some of this down. But if I'm not mistaken, a lot of these aren't snakes either. They're actually legless lizards.
Isn't that a snake?
Yeah, snake, something like that, right?
Well, they say you can tell a legless lizard apart from a snake because it has ears.
And it
Open a
blinks.
bar.
If you look at some of these snakes, you can see ears.
Yeah, and
Like little
it
ear
has
holes.
eyelids.
Pete, can you come over tonight and tuck me in
Yeah, really.
with the
Oh.
stories of the sky god traversing the...
Can we go back to spiders? All these legless, eared snakes are freaking me out.
So I'm curious though, Doris, you live in Germany. How hard would it be to get a lot of snakes? Are snakes common pets there, or are there a lot of pet stores that sell snakes?
Actually, they do. of course, it depends what kind of snake you want. If it's just your regular little non-poisonous snake, you can get that at pretty much any pet store. If you want to keep poisonous ones, and there are people who keep them, of course, for medical reasons, for research and stuff, you have to get a permit.
That makes sense.
Otherwise, not very difficult to get one.
Well, do you remember? I'm jumping out of the minute for a quick second, but do you remember like the first time you saw the movie?
Yeah, I do. Which was not in a theater. I saw it in 1983, just after the first time I'd seen Star Wars. So I was 11 or 12. Because I wouldn't have been allowed to watch it in a theater, actually. Because in Germany, Raiders is rated 16 and upwards.
Oh,
wow.
interesting.
And what were your thoughts?
Pretty much fell in love instantly.
There's the old girl we know.
We know the feeling.
Yeah, we know.
So much so that later that year in school, we had to pick our second foreign language. And you had a choice between Latin and French. So I picked Latin because I, of course, wanted to become an archaeologist later on.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And you had to know how to spell Neolithic.
I know how to spell Neolithic.
Well, we all do now.
I mean, took a little detour. And when I actually started at college, I was in law school first and flunked that royally. So when I switched topics, switched subjects, I decided, well, archaeology, that's what you were interested in, but archaeologists don't make any money. There aren't many jobs. So history teacher it was.
Well, you just weren't selling the stuff to Marcus.
See?
That's where the money is.
That's because usually nowadays people don't rob the sites they dig up, right?
I guess.
Yeah, the world's gone to pot.
It's not like it used to be. Oh, we were talking last week. No, a couple weeks ago. I don't know, but we were talking about how as they were opening the Well of Souls, we were talking with the alien guys, and they agreed with me and Pete, and was Christy there that day? Anyway, that he opens the. They find the lid to the Well of Souls, and Sala, who's been a adult this whole time, kind of slips into this very goofy, you see, Indy, you see? And it's very depressing for all of us, and we're very disappointed in Sala.
I love him.
I love Sala too, but I don't want to, I want him to stay as like a cool, like equal of Indiana Jones's. And in that second, he sort of turned into like this sort of subservient goofball. But he's got a fun, he's had another few, like you go first and things like that, which don't bug me nearly as much. And here he's got that, I told you it'd be all right. And it's like kind of a goofy moment, but it's not stupid goofy. It doesn't bother me as much as you see Indy.
He always comes across as, well, Indy, you go down there, I'll watch from above. And the next minute, all that changes.
Yeah.
It's a classic line of with the Satipo, stay here if you insist,
right.
Senor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sala can be funny without being, depressing or disappointing.
So, are we talking about the sky?
Oh, we could be,
Or
sure.
have we already passed that point?
No.
We've mentioned it before, but you should too if you want to.
I mean, it's impressive CGI still 35 years later, I think.
I think Mitch, it was Mitch maybe from last week on the Alien Minute guys. He'd mentioned that he thinks it's almost a direct quote of the Ten Commandments. Like the sky looks almost identical to some of the sky shots there.
I'm going to say this probably in every minute that they show the sky. Just maybe I'm a bit of an alarmist, or I told you so. Isn't that dawning on anybody that they find the Well of the Souls, and all of a sudden there's like hell-raising storm in the background, like an
God is-
apocalyptic maelstrom, just maybe over your shoulder.
Yeah, God is getting pissed off. Yeah, people are trying to meddle in his stuff, and
Yeah,
he's telling them, "Hey, get out of there."
I'm like, didn't any of you guys go to Sunday school?
Right. Sala didn't even go to Sunday school, I'm assuming, and he knew that it was something
Yeah.
that man was not meant to disturb.
It's like, hey, maybe we're close to the ark because it's raining hounds.
It's turning into Ghostbusters out here. I think we're in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah, Indy's not good at listening.
Nah, he's not.
So he lands in the dirt, or in the sand, surrounded by snakes, his worst nightmare. And there's this famous shot with him facing I'm going to call it a cobra. A snake expert
is
later
a
on
cobra.
might correct me. Is it a cobra?
It is a cobra.
Yeah, with that fanning head. And, anyone who's seen any or read any making of stuff knows that the snake's actually in a glass box, which you basically can't see. And as a kid, I never, ever, ever would have thought there was anything there. But then eventually somebody's like, oh, if you look very closely, there's a slight reflection or something. You can kind of see the glass, but that doesn't bug me at all. That works fine for me.
I remember that. What I thought about in this second, where he comes face to face with the cobra, is once again the brilliance of John Williams. He has this horn swooning thing that it kind of goes, and you're like, you feel like it sounds dizzying.
Yeah.
And you're like, it already sounds like I've been bitten by a snake.
Yeah.
And I can't see straight.
It's the sound of Indy about to barf.
Yeah. And again, you're like, how did he do that musically? It's genius.
Yeah.
Make it sound like you're about to puke because you've just been bitten by not an asp, maybe a cobra.
John Williams, when Bugs Bunny gets air sick and he turns green and gets very swoony and wavy? Do that with music.
Yeah.
I mean, Indy's face in there is precious as well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
really, really. Ugh.
Yeah.
He sells it. This is his worst nightmare. He had a snake in his lap in an airplane at the beginning, and that freaked him out. But this is sick.
And that's one of those great little subtle things that they threw in there just for the hell of it, and it makes it so much better. Like he just says in one line, he's like, "I hate snakes, Jacques. I hate them."
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, there's this entire part of the movie where he has to deal with that, and it's great. It's like the simple thing that whoever directed this.
We should look that up before we're
Yeah,
done.
I knew what they were doing there.
He must be so furious too. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm probably 10 feet from the Ark of the Covenant and I can't deal with it yet because first I have to deal with these stupid snakes.
That's why I love Indiana Jones always better than Han Solo, because I relate to that.
Sure.
He's like, I have to get my driver's license. I have to go to the DMV. And whatever is there, it's going to be snakes, whatever the snakes are for you. You're like, yeah, I understand that feeling, man.
I wonder what the cheese is going to want.
Yeah.
There's a deep cut for anybody who knows any Warner Brothers cartoons.
It's a really nice shot, though, because as the cobra kind of rears up, Indy's looking at the cobra, but it's a nice long shot because you can see the arc in the background. Like
I was going to say, I've never in my life noticed that before. It's right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Which just adds to like, oh, I could turn around and like write my initials on the Ark of the Covenant, but not right now because I'm surrounded by snakes.
So that's exactly like the DMV.
Oh, I didn't bring the right form of ID. I got to go all the way home. Fantastic.
That's incredible. I never knew the Ark of the Covenant's behind him in the scene.
Yeah, I always got the impression watching this that they had like more, I don't know, hallways or catacombs or something to go through to get to that exact spot, but I guess not.
Wasn't the original set model for the All of the Souls like a really big set with hallways and stuff?
I know when you look at the behind the scenes pictures of because it's like a giant. They built a giant set at Elstree Studios in England, also where they filmed Star Wars. But when you look at the outside, it's immense. Like it's a couple stories tall. It's just a huge area of scaffolding and plywood, and it looks giant. So I don't know if they maybe have extra parts of this room that we're not seeing or what.
Yeah, we see more stuff later, but they kind of have to bust through walls to get to it.
Did you guys, by any chance, ever read the making of book by Rinsler?
Oh, I'm sitting next to it right now.
I think there's a sketch of that in there. You might want to check after the minute.
Oh, okay. And then if you come back tomorrow, I can compare notes.
Yeah, we'll do that.
All right.
So that's your homework, right?
Yeah. I don't mind Indiana Jones homework.
You can always take your finals with me, and we'll all dress up in Star Wars gear. So we've done that.
Right. Yeah, Doris was saying recently on the was that on our page? Is that on the Indiana Jones and the Listeners Crusade? I think it's the first time I mentioned it on the show.
I think it was with your competition over at the Star Wars Minute.
That makes sense. That's fine. They're not our competition. They're our brothers in arms.
Of course.
But yeah,
and they're on hiatus right now, so who cares?
that's true. Well, okay, since I have some reading to do, why don't we wrap up this minute and we can come back here tomorrow for minute 65. But what are you
Did
laughing
you
about
say
here?
you have some reading to do? I like that. You got to do your vocab work.
That's right. I got to show my work.
I will teach you the German title of the film.
Oh my gosh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good tease.
You got to come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Just tell me it's not German for Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then I'll be happy. But Pete, before we come back tomorrow, why don't you tell people where to find us today?
Well, as Doris and Tom were talking about, you can join us on Facebook at the Indiana Jones Listeners Crusade and join the conversation about what we're talking about, or you can find us on the internet at indianajonesminute.com.
Oh, and you know what? Subscribe to us and like us and write us a review on iTunes, because that helps a lot. And we added some stuff too, didn't we? Oh, we're always on Google Play. You should check us on Google Play. And I think we just showed up on the Stitcher app. So
Yes.
check us out there too. And tell the world about us, because we love the world, and the world might love us if they know about us.
They sure do.
Take it from somebody who's not even in this country. The world loves us. So join us again tomorrow for minute 65 of Raiders of the Lost Ark here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
I don't think we need a chaperone.
I told you it'd be all right.
That's kind of a Ben Kenobi minute there. You won't need a chaperone. We don't need a chaperone.
Jones!